Wait for her response. Was that her response? Good afternoon. I'd like to call the Town of Rome Community Development Authority meeting to order for Thursday, November 6th at 3:30. Number 2, roll call, starting from my right. And make sure your speaker's on.
Oh, all the way to the right. Tiffany Sivecki here.
Mark Samelsted here.
Mark Lake here.
Dalton here.
Hasdell here. Number 3, certified posting of the meeting, please.
I certify that the Town of Rome Community Development Authority was posted for Tuesday, November 4th, 2025, was posted for the Rome Town Hall at 8:40 a.m., was posted at Quick Trip LLC at 2:09 p.m., was posted at Nakusa Port Edward State Bank at 2:06 p.m., and emailed to the Wisconsin Rapids Tribune at 10:29 a.m.
Thank you. Number 4, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. Why don't we have the Pledge of Allegiance on this committee? We do everything else.
I've never seen it.
We
on
don't with Plan Commission.
Really? Okay. All right.
We with Town Board.
I think it's a preference.
Yeah. All right. Well, if everybody insists on it.
I've never seen one on Plan Commission in all the cities I've ever worked in.
All right. I just thought I'd ask.
I haven't either, but I don't.
Citizen comments? Do we have any comments turned in? Any of the nature? No. Pass on 5. No action contemplated except possible referral to future agenda. Number 6, information updates, meeting recaps, recent correspondence, current events, and announcements. Tiffany, let's start with you.
I do not have any updates because mine will come further down on number 10.
Okay.
I don't have anything.
Mark? Anything?
Nothing.
I just want to thank the community for their support for the haunted forest that we had the last couple weekends for the brewery. It was a great turnout. A lot of good feedback. So just expect bigger and better next year. And then also we decided to postpone our anniversary party since a high of 32. We don't expect people to come out for that on Sunday. So that's all I
Fireball. There's drinks for that.
have. That's only for the haunted forest.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I just got a quick one. Mark and I attended a Board of Adjustment yesterday down at the county, and we got permission to move the nano bubble over to 8th Avenue and we got our 8-foot restriction lifted. So we'll move forward with that, and we'll work with the town and get everything else settled. But that's a good thing. It saves us a bunch of aggravation to try and figure out another place to put that. So that was a good thing. Number 7, reports, Parks and Recreation Committee.
Is that me? 'Cause
Okay.
that's what I was just asking him. Like,
Did they have anything to?
didn't know, I don't know.
Have they had a meeting
I
recently?
think it's both of our first time at the meeting. Parks, from what I can remember, their committee, the meeting was, there's multiple items that they're working on over in the town center they wanted to look at. Gosh, I don't know what the games are called.
Disc golf.
Contemplating that. The one where you throw the beanbags at it.
Oh, okay.
Bags, whatever they're
Bags,
called.
yeah.
Cornhole, that's it. That, in like a cement, some cool options that they were showing. And then the other one that is the balls on a string, so it's a ladder, is that what it's called, ladder ball? See, you should give the report. They were looking at those items as additions to the town center area.
Oh, okay.
They had, trying to think if they had some commentary about campground, if I recall, by Deer Hughes. I think they're gonna look into that. They're gonna be looking into that to see,
Ah,
if that's an
There he is.
option. Hello. I think they mostly just kind of kicked around ideas of what to go over in town center. They showed, different options, and I'm trying to remember what else there was.
okay. I would like to the chair over to Mr. Beal.
Oh, you could have kept going.
Yeah, that's all right.
Where are you at?
Plan Commission. 7 there.
Okay. So anybody on the plan commission here to report?
Oh, time cards, important stuff.
Remember.
Rome Town Center report.
You wanna give, what was that, the last one?
Was that just the one where you guys, introduction of you guys was pretty much, that's what I was trying to remember.
Yeah, okay.
So,
I couldn't remember.
We're fully
the next one
staffed.
is the 18th.
We're fully staffed on that right now, right?
These working?
Yes.
All right. So then the WEDC Connect Communities. Is there any information out of there right now?
I went down there. There wasn't very many people there. There was a couple of people there. So I don't know in terms of information that I'm looking for from them. I didn't walk away with tons of information. Like it was my first meeting. It was more of like a kind of a meet and greet to see who's at the meeting. So my next one I'll have a little more information. I know that we have a prospective development for town center. It's not really ready for prime time, but I did talk with Dustin down there to see what incentives there was. And I found out the applicant, or the, not applicant, I shouldn't say applicant, potential developer had already spoken to him to find out what their options were. That was the extent, as it pertains to Rome. There wasn't really anything else.
Okay, thank you. Number 8, discussion and possible action, approval of the Thursday, October 2nd, 2025 meeting minutes. And that was, I believe, when we changed the meeting time, Tiffany, for 3:30.
I wasn't there at that one.
Get a motion to approve that?
We didn't see the minutes though, right? Did you send them to anybody?
And we don't have a copy of them in here.
Right. I don't remember seeing them
Sent
either.
them
Can we
into her.
table that
I
one
sent-
till
okay.
next week?
Yeah. If we don't have,
That was on October 2nd.
All right.
Do we want to table that item and I can message her
Yeah.
to get
Yeah.
those quick?
Okay, number 9, discussion and possible action. Any update on the Wirtz counter offer or proposal?
Yes, hold please.
Okay.
Okay. I spoke with Pat Wirtz yesterday, anticipating the agenda item on today's plan, and he is being held up due to a delay in payment from his developer that prohibits him from being able to write the actual check for this. I have encouraged him to get the offer put in. He had the proposal. Wendy took it to the attorney. Attorney sent him an offer, but it was not a fully filled out offer. There wasn't like parcel, none of that information in there. I helped him go through it, button some things up, said, all right, here's where you need to sign, here's what you need to do. So that's kind of where he's been at that standstill, is getting that in and finalized so that that purchase can move forward. So I have been continually encouraging him to get that in and done.
How many acres is he proposing to buy from the town?
I think we approved 3 with an option to purchase 2.
Do you guys see site plans for that when you approve how many acres they're buying to ensure that their land is being used efficiently?
Yeah, we went through the proposal that he had sent us, which is what you have. So what he was entailing, I guess it's a more detailed slideshow of what he's proposing to use that land for, and put on there. And then I think from that purchase, it would go to Plan Commission and zoning for that actual site plan. But that's what we based our discussion off of, was that proposal.
Okay, so 3 acres for one building? Like, I'm just kind of curious why that much land is needed.
I believe within the proposal, it was the building, which is essentially a equipment and supply warehouse, as well as an office / showroom. So it would be a larger building. And I don't recall off the top of my head what else he had in the proposal. I would have to pull it up.
Is there something in the guidelines that say that it has to be a certain size building, or?
No, I'm just to ensure that we get it as, we use our land efficiently there, because that's kind of like our prime time space in the town of Rome, so we want to make sure that we allow, or we just plan that well.
Okay, because until that road was put in, there was nobody looking for land down there. So I don't, there's a building right across the street that's empty. So I don't see that as real prime time stuff. But, I'm not in with the RTC side of things, so I don't know what's planning in there.
Forward looking, I definitely understand the question. He had detailed, and I don't know if it was in that proposal or when he came for his initial meeting here during CDA quite a few meetings ago, the plans to expand upon that. So I would hope to see that within a site plan.
I was just curious if you guys saw site plans here before it came to the planning commission.
No, other than what's in the proposal, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has he made an offer on the optional 2 acres?
No. Nope, and I did let him know that would be separate. It was noted in the original offer that the attorney drew up and sent to him, but we would want that as a separate item. And, I had let him know you're going to have to decide that and put that option offer in separately and right away as well. So,
And that was just, he had first right of refusal if we get an offer on that other land, right?
yes,
As well?
yep,
But we were asking him to put
2,000
money
down on
to,
that.
yeah.
yep.
But did he state any purpose for that second purchase property?
He did not.
Has he said anything to you about any other things he's looking at the moment?
Yes. He has expressed interest, and this was part of his delay in decision, is investing in some sort of a lumber, building supply, hardware facility within the town of Rome as well. So he's like, I'm just trying to figure out what direction I want to go to, and he's held up on being able to write that check. So I'm pushing him to build condos that he has to fork out of his pocket. So I'm probably to blame for that.
Now, part of his plan, Tiffany, would be the parking lot's going to be paved.
That would go,
Correct.
I apologize, that would go to Plan Commission, but yes, that is an RTC requirement and a Town of Rome requirement, so that would be within that, yes.
I want to make sure that that's included in the plan, because
Usually-
we've had some problems where businesses are built and we've got gravel lots.
Yep.
So that's got to be included in the plan commission.
I mean, when I first heard about it a couple of plan commissions ago, we were talking about the price. And my discussion was making sure that the town of Rome was getting the best bang for the buck. Were they paying the appropriate amount? And we were talking about going to the assessor, and we were talking about going to the appraiser and finding out what the true value of that. And mainly because, they just installed a water main down that property, plus there's also the brand new road. So the value of the lot went from, okay, it's vacant land, or there's nothing there, now it's fully improved with the road and a water main, yet the price didn't go up. And I understand it's about, well, what he can afford, and we actually increased the price a little bit, but there's gotta be a level, we're not in a position to give away things, and we also want a return. And what, to your point, Emily, what I would wanna look at in the future is, nobody is buying land to be a land baron, because, and whatever contract that the town signs says that if you don't develop it, we get it back at the cost that you bought it from us, and no, you cannot sell it for more than what you paid for us. Or we get it back, or some short. So we're getting our money back. The problem is, we're not getting our return on all of these parcels. I mean, some of them are good, some are, I mean, it takes time. The development takes time. And we just need to make sure that the citizens in the town of Rome get their fair return.
Is that, the businesses that are already, in there, is that language in the development agreements
I
that we
just
had
moved here
with
a
them?
year, and I
Typically,
haven't had enough.
yeah.
It's still in the development agreement set.
When I was on the CDA
It's a vacant
prior,
building, right?
yeah, when I was on the CDA prior, yeah, that was all in there. Whether it was followed or not, couldn't tell you. The other thing is too, I did talk to the assessor and had him value out. He did some valuation of land. He thought 6,000. We were getting 6,000 an acre, I believe. He thought that was cheap. He thought it was a hell of a deal.
When you talk about roads,
Yeah.
you know, the road in and of itself, I don't have the current number, but you're talking about water main. Water main is, as a minimum of installed, probably $250 a linear foot, and then you got the road as it's $6 a square foot, you know, for asphalt plus the cost of the base and everything else. It's, you know, it's $500 a linear foot, and we're talking several acres, so $6,000 per acre doesn't cut at all, or even close to breaking even. But I do understand there's you know projects that you do so that other projects will come in. We just need to make sure that we get those projects. You know, there's a loss, you know, and we understand that. And hopefully that will empower others to come in. We just need to make sure that we're making the right decisions.
Yeah, the assessor, he suggested you start at 10, you go up or down from there depending on what your intent is. He said on the prime lots, he said you should get a lot more than that, simply because of the reasons you stated. He compared it to some of the forest land we had here, some with and without water and other utilities. He also looked at other towns, business parks, like Barron's is barren. There's nothing going there for whatever reason, so it's a competition thing. So he said that he would start at a minimum of 10 and then look at prime and go up from there. And yeah, you're right, though. It's we want to make sure we're getting the right amount for it. But the offer we made to him was at 6, and that we'd have to honor. But anything else down the road, yeah, I think we review, I guess.
So 6 for just the 3 acres,
Each.
right?
6 each.
Per acre.
Okay.
A total of 18 for 3
For
acres.
3 acres, and then, did you say he has that option to purchase the additional 2, or first right of refusal if somebody else comes
Yeah.
forward?
Yeah. And that would be
Then,
separate.
here's a question I have, because I thought we had a discussion, maybe I'm trying to figure out. So first right of refusal, if somebody else comes forward, but he purchases that, he can't turn around and sell that, because then we have first right of refusal, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And he's not guaranteed to get those other 2 acres at 6,000 an acre.
Right. It would be at the current value.
Okay.
Yep.
But right now, does he have a legitimate offer on the table for anything?
Not that he has officially submitted. That's the part of that update. He has it in hand. He has to sign it and bring it in here.
Okay.
And I think part of his misconception, which I was trying to clear, I don't know that I was able to get that through clearly, was just, I think he thinks he needs to bring a check in, or this gets accepted and next week I have to pay a check, and he's worried about being able to do that and proceed with the current large project that he has at hand. So So I'm trying to clear that misconception as well. It would have to go, and I do have it built into the offer that he would have to provide the survey to get that reparceled, all of that. So it's time. It would be a timely process. It's not going to close tomorrow. A survey would have to get done and submitted, and I don't know how that's going to work with government shutdown with getting on any of those reports and documented.
So he's just waiting on his contractor or developer to pay him something?
Pay him, yep.
Okay. So here's a question that I have. If he's waiting on somebody else to pay him money, is this somebody that has the financial backing to develop a business there?
Yes.
He has
Okay.
a business. This would
Yeah.
just be his.
Oh, he does?
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
Okay,
fully
okay.
operational.
Relocating.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm thinking he's dependent on somebody else paying him, and does that get us into a situation where we're gonna have a vacant building sitting there then, or
No,
whatever?
no.
Okay.
This is where he wants his main
This is where he wants
location to be. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Anything else on that item?
Emily, did he talk to you about a store operation?
Yes and no. He came in and talked to me about it, and then another man came in and said that he would actually be opening the hardware store and be buying the 2 acres from Wertz. And I said, that's just not how it works.
Mark?
I
it
don't
Mark?
actually
Okay.
recall his name.
Make money on
Names are not my.
Yeah, I get you.
it. Doesn't come with a liquor license, right?
The best hardware stores, though, have one.
No, I don't recall his name, but he, I think, was under the impression that Wertz would buy the 2 acres with this offer, and then he'd buy the 2 acres from Wertz to open a hardware store, and I just said, that's not really how it works. If he decides to sell that land, the town will be running it back.
Yeah.
Or they have the option to, so he was going to talk to Wertz to figure that out.
Yep.
Was my understanding.
But Emily Wertz knows he can't sell this other guy the 2 acres if he buys it.
He should know. My understanding is he knows. Yeah.
Okay.
How do we stop that?
Stop what?
A purchase and a sale?
Well, if what do you mean?
Well, let's say Worth buys it and then he tries to sell it to the other guy. How do we even know about it if it goes through the county?
Don't we have the right of first
Yeah, we have right of first refusal.
Yeah, but if he ignores us, I'm just throwing it out there.
It's recorded against the property.
So it would be
On
an
the
illegal
deed?
sale.
Okay,
Illegal.
okay, gotcha. Good.
We just need to make sure that's what the document says.
Yeah, we need to
Yeah.
make sure that's in that developer. It would be in the developer's agreement,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
That'd be the
Should be.
appropriate document.
Yep.
Yep.
I'll work on getting them in a discussion, the 3 of us, so I can clear that all up.
Well, if they're gonna co-own it, great.
Yep.
But if it's just the one man,
Yeah.
then.
I think really what it sounds to me is the plan would be, just knowing how the relationship works, is Wertz would purchase the land, have the money, build the building, own it, and Wertz would really just be building it. Oh my goodness.
I think I know what you mean.
Yep. I'm done today.
Yeah, so if it's a partnership, I don't think there'd be an issue
Yeah.
there, as long as Wertz's name is on the land.
Yep.
All right. We all got minutes from October 2nd now. If you want to take a minute to browse those over, and we'll go back to number 8.
Did we vote on it? We should probably have either vote to redo it or not. Or to just redo the motion.
Okay.
Have a motion to get rid of what we had already said we approved,
All right.
the table.
So would you like to make that motion?
Motion to remove, to untable the item number 8 and approve the minutes for October 2nd.
I think it would just be amend the previous motion.
The previous motion, sure.
I second it.
All right, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those against? All right, so we will revisit item number 8.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Got a motion for it and a second from Mark.
Mark Lake.
Yeah.
Mark Lake. Oh, yep, we got to make sure we get the right one.
The right one.
You guys should not be sitting next to each other.
So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Minutes?
Aye.
Any against?
We'll switch seats.
Minutes are approved from the October 2nd meeting. All right. Moving on to agenda number 10. Discussion and possible action, RTC subcommittee path forward from this point on.
All right, so we had our first RTC meeting with our full new committee. Went really well. Our discussion really circled around, it was a lengthy discussion, great discussion though, and really just looking to get in front of the board and just ask what do you want to see changed and amended on the current the current proposed master plan, so that we have a direction of where to go from there, and really make sure that we're focusing on the right items that the town wants to see from us regarding the master plan, making sure it is fitting within the vision for the comprehensive plan. And that gives us a direction on how to move forward, and then getting the blessing from the town board to begin that motion forward and encompassing those changes. So that's really where the big, large, long discussion ended, was really at that item of this is what our next step is going to be. And so that's kind of our current status, is meeting with the town board, which gets to be me. and then bringing that back to our next RTC meeting and going from there.
So is there any kind of guidance you want from the CDA board, or are you guys going to go directly to the town board?
Yep. So same question, which is why we wanted it as an agenda item for today, is also getting that same feedback from CDA as well as town board. What are some of those focus changes that we want to see for the RTC subcommittee in regards to the master plan, and just so we know what do we really need to concentrate on first and start redeveloping within that.
Okay. I think we'll have to put that as an item for next meeting. Mark?
Okay, so, yeah, if we're gonna have that conversation, so next meeting, then we can prepare a little bit more.
I think it was the hope that that's why it was an agenda item today, was we could have that. Yep, because we're scheduled to go with the town board, whatever their next meeting is.
13th.
So
okay.
if we're gonna talk about it, the only thing, since I'm new to the town, moved here a year ago, but when I saw the master plan, I mean, it's all well and good, and I wasn't part of it. I know people that were, and how it was prepared. My only issue after looking at it and having 40 years or 30 years as a planner, it's not realistic. Okay? You don't build buildings and then say, okay, where are your septic system? We'll figure that out. No, that's not how it works. What's the realistic plan? What can be built here? And then go from there. I like the fact that we're looking at putting in housing, we're looking at and seeing what we can do about retail and all that, and the thing about planning is I can do a lot of pretty pictures, but are they buildable? Mine are buildable, because I know where you put parking. I know when you say we have to have green space, where my green space is, but I also know that in an area in a town that doesn't have its own wastewater treatment plant, you need to have an area for, and the good thing is, we're saying, that's what saves us, is because now your footprint is a lot smaller, and when the county, whatever the guy's person is, comes out and says, it says, okay, this is where you can perk, this is the area of perks, and this is where you can put in your system, and, you know, you're 20 feet wide by whatever, but you gotta double that, because if it fails, you need to have a place to replace it. And so you just need to have the area, whether you're designating it out in front or you're designating out in back, you need to have this, your sanitary area identified in the plan, not like some planners who like doing town plans and city plans and village plans all do their pretty picture, and then you ask the question is, well, where's the parking? Where's this? Where's that? Oh, don't worry, we'll figure that out. No, I wanna see it in the pretty picture. And this plan needs to show how it's buildable. It has to, because if you don't show how it's buildable, whoever you want to get to move in here does not have the vision of what it can fit. They need to see, if this is where I can build, that this is all I have. They're looking at here, they're not looking at anything else. And they're trying to fit everything that they have on that, and then, but if you draw a picture that doesn't really have the realistic locations, and everything is so tight and small, and, okay, where's your parking? Where's your sanitary system? You do have water, right? Yeah, we do have water, that's a good thing. And then, so how does everything fit? So, you know, bottom line, I know I'm talking, is let's just make sure that the RTC understands that when they present a plan and at least when I look at it and I wanna vote on it or I wanna talk about it, it will be a buildable plan, not just a pretty picture. That's my 2 cents.
One of the things I liked about continuing on with the RTC was their focus would be really zeroed in on the sites there and what we can do. And I do agree with you, Mark. That's part of the reason. I'm not speaking for the board. I'm speaking for myself. But part of the reason we were not in favor of it, they wanted some zoning changes and some ordinance changes for something that's supposed to happen 25 years down the road. But then they were going to put RFPs out for lots out there that, and it's, wait, whoa, we're talking 25 years, but now you want us to make these changes. Now we don't even know what's going on. And again, there was no infrastructure in place other than the water and utilities. We didn't have, again, they were looking at 40-foot wide lots, and I'm thinking it wasn't for retirees or folks of that nature when you're talking 2-story buildings. And if you're doing it for workforce, you got 2 or 3 people living in there. When a 40-foot lot, how are you going to park? There were no garages in there, so
We don't even do 40-foot lots in areas that have sewer.
yeah. So, and I don't know that our water system now will cover that. We only have a 12-inch pipe coming from that tower.
That's fine.
Well, do you know how many lots they're looking at? 200 homes.
It's well, no, a 12-inch pipe is good, and it will be, and for the most part, is a good service. Could it be larger? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
The biggest issue is how much pressure is continuously in the pipe, and so you just measure it at the, the fire department knows how to do that,
Yeah.
and that's their job to determine whether or not. And they would be the ones that would come back and say, sorry, no more building, because we have no more pressure.
Yeah, none of those were answered. We didn't. I mean, there was too many questions, not enough answers, and that was our.
And Emily will speak to that. So that's
Yep.
when we look at the development, and we have a master plan, and we can say no. Plan commission can say no if we don't have the infrastructure to
Right.
support it. Then it and it's specifically, we're not taking care of it. That's the developer's responsibility to make the correction. If something is missing, something is required in order to make it work, that's the developer's responsibility, not the town's.
I think at the meeting we discussed, maybe the housing isn't what fits, but that's why we were bringing it for direction, maybe looking at rezoning, which would be appropriate, because right now that zoning is for, we use senior housing, I think, is really,
Yep.
as the example there. it's not in an appropriate spot, so maybe if that's a focus that the CDA and town board want the RTC subcommittee to look at, that would at least give guidance as to what we're gonna discuss at our next meeting of where should, like, what zoning would be appropriate there? Do we wanna continue to allow light industrial, uses? Where should senior housing be? Where should multifamily housing be? And that gives us a little bit more guidance of what we can actually talk about besides just saying, what if? Realistic plans.
I think that there needs to be a little bit of more time and for you to look at it as the planner and determine, take a look, I know you were here before, but, look at it and identify what should be in here, and then we can talk about it a little bit further, because I think the mix of uses are there, but we also have to have the buffering, need to have everything else, and I think we're probably not that far away, from it. Senior housing, but one good thing about senior housing is it requires less utilities. It's 1/3, so we have 1/3 less water, 1/3 less sewer, 1/3 less whatever, but we have 50% more fire calls, emergency calls, everything else. That's in every community that I work in. They're like, okay, the first person they call is they call the fire department because it's a continuously. How often, what's your rate of service? And you just want, if they're constantly over there, it's, hey, guess what? You guys get to buy us a new ambulance. Why? Because they're there all the time. And we don't necessarily want to do that. We would prefer that, then that's where you look at it. Okay, now is it gonna cost the town extra? We're gonna have to provide, because we want to have double coverage, and we can't always be in a position where we're always having ambulance running to the senior facility, and we need to have a separate one sitting out there so that in case something else happens, it's just, yes, that's growing pains and everything else, but it's still, it can't cost the town. That would be borne by the developer.
Yeah, my perspective on it was we aren't even at like a shovel ready, even close to a shovel ready.
Nope.
It's looking at the zoning.
Yeah, zoning and then actual lots.
Yeah.
So we just
Zoning
gives the
and some
town a little
planning.
bit more control, guidance, whatever word you wanna use. But, just to ensure appropriate use of the land. So somebody doesn't, and I haven't seen their site plan, so Wertz could have a great one, and he's gonna use the property perfectly, and the hardware store is gonna use.
That's the only thing I've seen.
Well, and then we can adjust the plan commission too. So that's why there's multiple ways or committees to go through. But maybe that's something that CDA does look at when there's offer to purchase, is to make sure that they're not gonna just buy 10 acres to have sit out there or use a corner of it.
Site
and
plan,
then they.
business plan, you want to present something to us, show us your business plan, show us your site plan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Show us all that
Detailed
stuff,
site
and
plan of
then
what their
be short of
property's
that, we shouldn't be wasting that much of our time. Yes, we're talking about the RTC now, but I think there needs to be more to an application instead of just sending it to the CDA.
Yeah,
for
well, and
comment.
if the cases where you guys see full site plans of how they're gonna use their property, maybe parceling out the entire town center or having an idea of what we'd wanna do down there, maybe that's not appropriate if you guys go through site plans to ensure that the lots are appropriately sized. But just having that as something in mind when we're looking at, planning for RTC is good.
There's the option too of standard size lots, and then if somebody needs more, they can purchase 2 lots side by side, or.
Well, but there's a difference. You have standard size lots are one thing, but standard size lots in a community that doesn't have septic, that has septic and not sanitary, normal sanitary sewer, we don't have the facility. Sure, could we look at doing a package plant? Yep, we could, but somebody's gonna be paying for it. It has solved many problems for many people, but there is, you need to have the momentum with a bunch of companies or a bunch of groups or a bunch of projects coming in order for that to be a solution. And I think there's also a difference between standard size lots, residential, residential septic, residential on utilities, you know, so we just need to make sure that that all works out. Can't assume, like, you know, the master plan did, that, oh, we'll just make it work.
No, I wasn't thinking of standard in terms of like your standard residential 65 or 80 or whatever it is. Whatever would be developed down there or set down there, platted out as a standard.
I mean, if
that
you
would
look at
account
a
for
standard
all of those
half-acre
things
lot,
on it.
Standard half-acre lot.
Yeah.
For commercial or whatever it is, it's a half acre plus your septic field.
Yeah.
So you're a little bit more than a half acre.
Yep.
Unless you're gonna buy 2 lots, then you're okay, because it's gonna be on one side and your septic field can be in your setback, so you're not worried about it.
Well, it might be nice to have CDA still have, the flexibility where, as, like, if you guys are looking at site plans and somebody says, I need 5 acres, and they have this gorgeous plan for 5 acres, that way you guys have flexibility to say, let's make it a little bigger, a little smaller, and that way we don't have, and that would be just a,
Yeah. Maybe you don't need 5 acres, maybe you only need 4 or.
well, it just gives CDA control, guidance, whatever you wanna call it, gives CDA power to make the decision instead of saying, there's your 3 acre lot. Good luck.
It needs to be an economic decision, it's because we're dealing with the economics of the town, and we should be seeing a business plan. And
Yep.
business plan, a site plan, why do you need the land? You're not buying extra land just so that you can sell it, sorry. No, that's our land.
About 8 years ago or so, on CDA, we were looking at an expandable pout system. We were trying to get some senior housing in here with that. It was just, again, funding was an issue, and we just couldn't get anybody to nail it down, so
Yeah,
that's
I
still a
mean,
possibility.
I've seen many developments that have used package plants. I've seen subdivisions that have run hundreds of feet of sanitary septic line to a specific spot, where you had many houses that would have their septic field all in the same area, and you just piped it all the way over there. So there are solutions. The fact that we probably, if you look at the whole state of Wisconsin, because we have sand, and it's all sand, we are in the best position to take care of it. Now, we just need to make sure that we don't have too much density of septic field
Yeah.
that we contaminate our water supply.
Yeah, one of the other issues we ran across was folks that already had their septic fields in. It would be a difficult time. One was in the front, one was in the rear, where you put the pipes and you have to move the whole thing around. I mean, there was a few issues we couldn't resolve at the time. That's your job.
Step 1, zoning in the RT.
My thought was look different goals, like a 5-year goal, 10-year goal. You know, what can we get done? What are the needs, immediate needs? I mean, we've only sold 5 properties in the last 5 years, if that. It's light. So how do we attract more in here? What do we attract? You know, that fits within the comp.
For a business park.
I'm sorry.
Looking at what Rome Town Center was.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of really good growth, and it's been actually quick.
Yeah, there's been some good.
Quick,
Yeah.
but it's been very quick in terms of.
It usually just takes, it takes the ones, it takes the one spark or the one thing that comes. We've done, since I've been at Vanguard, we've done 3 or 4 of them. And business parks, industrial parks, shopping centers. And it's usually what's the one that does it. Some of them, we're just building out a site down in Sussex, you know, down by Waukesha, and it's 100 acres, and it was vacant for a long time. You know, then Quick Trip came, and you know, brought in Quick Trip, and they're there for a while. But we had the infrastructure in, and we have everything, and then we finally built we finally built our first spec building. Got that one sold. Then another one came in, and another one came in. Now I have 2 lots left out of, I got 10 acres left out of 100 acres. So there, it just, and it's been since 2017 that we started with that project. So it does take time.
Oh, yeah.
What was the, like, the anchor then, the Quick Trip, or?
Well, it's there, the first one on the corner, but it was, you know, it was just it's a business. I mean, and now we have others coming in because of how the corner, it has a Meijer in the area and has
Okay.
other things that are close. But it's a good intersection on 164 and Highway K and down in Sussex. And it's just a matter of, it just does take time. You can, and it, first things first is, you know, you cut the roads in. And people don't know it until you cut the road in. And the same thing with that is if you've been down to Oconomowoc and you know where the old Olympia Resort used to be, well, most people probably didn't know there was a lake back there. Well, the lake is what was dug in order to put up the ski hill.
Yeah.
And we cut down all the trees and built 300 some odd multifamily apartments, and now there's more beyond that, and more beyond that, and Sedex came in and everything. But you know, it took us 7 or 8 years to, you know, get the momentum moving. You know, it took us 2 years to take the resort down and all that stuff. But once you start down the path and you just, and talk about lot size. Lot sizes on drawings change all the time. And they're really, because what you don't wanna do, not like a subdivision. Subdivision is, hey, we're gonna do them all this size because these are the houses that we want. Whereas developments like this is, these are a guide, and you're coming in and you're going to develop, and we want 1 acre, we want ½ acre, we want 3/4 acre, we want 2 acre, and say this is you know, a bubble and it's got 2 acre lots, this is a bubble and it's got 1 acre lots, and this is the bubble, whatever it is, and you're just, here's the guide. And if you want something less than that, just tell us what you want and we'll see if it works. But the bottom line is, we're not selling you a bunch of land so that you can sell it to somebody else.
Yeah.
That's the first and foremost, that's not what we're here for. You buy what you need, we'll sell you more if you want it, but we'll sell it to you at the current value of the land.
I think the biggest thing to remember with the RTC plan is that this was a beginning point, a vision for 25 years. 25 years ago, we didn't see the RTC being what it is right now either. This isn't a rubric, and it's not a hard, this is what it's going to be. I think in what we had discussed in the RTC meeting, the biggest probably setback to the plan that was put out was the picture put on it. Put a picture of buildings, and that immediately gained that vision. And I think that was the biggest hurt to that plan. That's not what anybody's vision was. And I wish it was something that we would have thought about when we saw that picture, because that isn't. And again, it's a 25-year plan, and or vision, not plan, vision. What that starts is just that, the 5-year goal, the 10-year goal, what are the next steps in starting to develop that plan, and what happens in the RTC is going to look absolutely nothing like what is in the master plan, but it gives us that rubric because, you know, as we've discussed over and over again, you know, we have people coming in and grabbing larger lots, wanting this, wanting that. This is offering that guide to how we want that to look. How do we want to guide our RTC area? And so those are the directions, the specific directions that we're looking for from CDA and the town board in order to move forward. Is okay, the picture did us a disservice. So let's let's number one, throw a different picture on it. Number one step.
Well, yeah, it's not
But-
it should be a bubble drawing of this is what we're looking for generally in this area, because like, I agree with you.
Yeah.
The moment communities put on pictures, or, you know, and it's no offense, it's part of the open public, you know, people will come in and say, they'll come in, I want this here. And it shows this beautifully articulate, brick-looking, you know, $500 a square foot building that you can't afford and never will afford, but hey, if you lived in Southern California, it'd be great, right? Or Florida, or whatever it is, but it's not, you can't build it here. Just, and you get these pictures that get added to this drawing, and you have absolute unrealistic expectations of what the process really is, because you're taking all that in, and you're like, yeah, we can't afford that, we can't afford that, and then the public looks at it and says, but I had this picture, that's what I want. Well, okay, we're not having any more pictures, because we need to make this realistic. We're in a town, middle of Wisconsin,
In the middle of the woods.
and that has no utilities other than water. So how can we make this so that it's a net positive for the town?
Yep. And I do hear us keep going back to the utilities, sewage. We know that we're not getting municipal sewage. We know that that's not happening. Maybe in 25 years it'll happen, but in 5 years and 10 years, and that was addressed within the plan. Maybe it doesn't sound ideal to anybody, but that is addressed in the guide of here's a solution. It's the only viable solution. So if you want to put a grouping of homes, this is what your solution is. If you don't like it, then you're not going to develop that part, or that certain housing, whatever. I don't want us to get hung up on what I would say are the small details. We also have the drive of, we know that as a whole, the state, the federal government is pushing a change in zoning, and they're looking to have 1 to 2 zones with conditional uses put on that. And so it's a way of us to also get ahead of that. So we know, and as we discussed, this part over here that maybe is just dedicated as senior living, that's not really an ideal spot for that. So this guide is helping us to move some of that zoning around in the RTC and be able to move that forward. And so those are the kinds of things that we're looking for in being able to move forward and start moving the plan, get it enveloped with the comprehensive plan. So I really want to make sure we're not hanging up on those tiny little details, that we're looking at what are these big things that we need to tackle with the guide to move it forward, and know that this is allowing us to develop the RTC and make the best use of what land we do have, because it is precious, and not become the next like Lake Geneva, Chicago. I don't know.
I think
we don't want any of that.
One of the things that we need to make sure is, part of what the federal government is pushing is to make sure that everybody understands that any residential district is no longer a single-family, one-house residential district. That's what the feds want, is they want you to assume that every house has the ability to have, convert a back part of the house to a mother-in-law suite or whatever it is, or you have an additional accessory building that you can build in the back. But if we plan for it now, we would prefer not to have it where there's a house and then do all that stuff. We prefer to have it so that everybody understands that, we would not necessarily want to have a whole bunch of single houses and then you do all that. We would rather have this be a multifamily building, and follow the necessary path of home ownership. Affordability, there's this affordability scale, and single family, yep, multifamily, yep, but there's a scale in between of what a community can understand and what they can accommodate and hold. Now here, in my opinion, we need to find more ways of having multifamily so that the people that work here can live here. And right now they don't. And now I do understand it's because we're a resort community and people only live here for 6 months. And we have 300 caddies and employees over at Sand Valley that are in Florida or they're wherever, they're gone already because they made their money here for the summer, now they're gonna go make their money during the winter. But we would like to have it so that we can get more permanency. But if you don't have housing, you don't get permanency. And we don't want I would prefer to have employees that work in this community, live in this community, and not have to drive from Marshfield.
Yes, thank you. That is something big that I've pushed in that we were, I don't know that a 40-foot lot is necessarily appropriate, but the smaller, more affordable housing was brought up in our meeting, the RTC meeting, that, having a shop with an apartment above. That's how you be able to give that affordability for a worker to be here. A waitress, a bartender can't necessarily afford a $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 house. I am at a point in my career where I make a decent dollar and I can afford a little bit more than the next guy. I certainly make more than I did when I was bartending. I can't afford a $300,000 house right now, not with interest rates and taxes. And that's an issue. Workers and availability is an issue everywhere, but I feel especially here. Nobody wants to waitress for $2.35 an hour plus tips, and in the winter you don't get much, you don't get many hours, and drive 30 minutes to that job. I hate driving home after dance right now during the dark, and because there's deer everywhere. No, you end up costing your whole month's pay just to pay for your deductible when you've hit that deer at night. And so nobody wants to drive and work in the dark, especially. So having that housing that's available here, and that's part of what that plan is offering a guide to do. It's not saying it will be here and it's going to be right here, but it's giving that guide. For me, overall, the goal is to have a solid guide available to help developers coming in, because what we've run into over the last year is somebody comes in or they quick revamp their plan to try to fit what they heard we wanted, and then we're like, well, but we can't really tell you what we wanted, but we don't want that. So developing that guide so we can just say, we want this as long as you fit within this and these guidelines, and you come to the CDA with a site plan so we can make sure that what you are putting on that property, that lot size, is appropriate, because maybe you're asking for 3 acres but you should only have 1 or 2, and then that allows them to move through the process seamlessly, and I think it's more inviting to developers. I think at this point, anybody wanting to come in, it is met with some uncertainty, and so just being able to give that certainty is going to be a huge help in bringing people in, bringing a better tax base to the town.
Have you contacted Eric from Adams County Economic Development?
I have not.
Might want to bring him to some of your meetings. He's got a lot of contacts. He's got a lot of information. Very good resource, I'd say.
Okay. If you have his contact
I do,
information,
yes.
I would love that. Yeah.
He's also got avenues for some helpful funding.
Okay. Yeah. We like that.
It's right now they're sitting about $700,000 at 2%.
Yeah.
So you need something.
Right. I need a garage.
Well,
Yeah.
economic development, but yes,
Yep.
that'd be one. The other thing, the medical center we used to have, I still don't understand why any of the hospitals, Gunderson, Aspirus, or Marshfield, why don't they have a small clinic here? I mean, my dentist used to be here, and now we have nothing.
Yeah.
Just wonder why those folks haven't been interested in.
COVID. We had Aspirus.
Yeah.
And then COVID. I loved my doctor there. It's a very inconvenient.
So, I mean, we got clientele here for it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Drive to Gunderson.
Yeah, so I definitely think, and I think that is growing. And I think it is so important to start driving a little bit more towards those full-time residents too. I 100% believe that I would have at least half of those condos sold the day after they went live if we allowed short-term rentals in them. We don't want to. We want to drive full-time housing, and you don't want, you know, this condo owner may not want Joe Schmo, a different Joe Schmo every other day as their neighbor. And so I think that is a great direction. But right now we have people that's what they want. And so it's like, all right, let's start getting more of those full-time folks in here. I think that's going to help a lot too.
Can you say no to short-term rental?
No,
I didn't think so.
don't even try. I mean, you can't even,
Yeah.
Lake Geneva got hammered. They tried raising the fee to $2,000. They went to court and lost.
Yeah, no.
You can't be overly restrictive.
What condos are you talking about?
The Arrowhead condos.
that's
You,
what I thought.
yeah, so you can, within the, and I think Lake Arrowhead kind of drove that a little bit, but it's within the condo dock, so you can do a long-term rental of 30 days or more, but you can't short-term rental it. If that's not allowed,
I don't think that's legal.
I will have to bring that up with Mark. Yeah,
I would just check on, maybe it's different with condos, but you can't do
Yeah.
any of that with any type of single family. I
okay.
would just double check.
I think that's is that the new ones they're putting in over there?
Yeah.
Yeah, right off of Apache.
Yeah, right
I'm gonna
off
bring
of
that up to him and have him double check.
Just, yeah.
Yeah,
check
and I
that
know
out.
he had everything drawn up by his attorneys, but
Okay.
I definitely want to cross
I could
that
be
bridge
wrong,
before.
but I would
Yeah,
just
What if it's,
check on
I
that.
okay.
That's, yeah,
thought there were already condos over there.
there are.
There's a couple.
It's going right next.
Way in the back though, right? In the
Right off
middle
of
of
Hole
everything is
5.
condos?
See it from either road.
Okay.
So I was gonna ask you a question, Mark, you don't have to answer, it's more personal, but you said you've been here for what, about a year and a half? You moved here?
Yes.
Did you have a history of vacationing here? My question is, it's leading to, what attracted you to come to this area and move here?
You wanna hear this?
Well, I mean, I'm curious, cause this would
My wife
would
said
give
I
some
will be
insight.
damned if I'm gonna live 3.5 hours away from my grandson.
Okay,
And my son lives in Sun Prairie, my daughter lives in Marshfield, so Lake Arrowhead was in the middle.
In
I
between,
didn't wanna live
okay.
in Clover, I didn't wanna live in Rapids, I didn't wanna live, so and I didn't wanna live in Marshfield, and I didn't wanna live in Madison, so what was close?
Yeah. okay.
Halfway between the two.
So it really was just the location, not,
Well, no, I have land up on Lake DeBay. So I've been up and I gulped at Sand Valley many times, so I knew the area.
okay.
I actually made a map for Seeger Map Company 35 years ago by hand that had Nakusa, and it was it went already right down here to Apache. And so it was on a drawing, so I knew what this area was about. So,
Yeah, okay.
but we moved here because my wife told me I had to.
Good
Just
call.
curious of what attracted
But
you
I
to the
still have
area,
to-
but, yeah.
And that's on record.
I still have to drive to Milwaukee 2 days a week.
Yeah, and I just got off a phone with a new client today, looking at a house that is no longer within their budget because the price changed as quickly as it was listed. So I'm gonna have to break his heart about that. But they've been coming here. They have friends here, and this is what I hear so often. I didn't even know what Rome was when I came here 10 years ago. I was supposed to have a house in Akusa. My offer fell apart on my house. Was moving here to be closer to family. Looked for houses. Realtor didn't find me any houses, and I found this one in Rome, and I was like, that's it. That's my house. I walked into it, and I was like, I'm buying it. Where's the paperwork? And I'll never leave, but I came from a small town. So this was home for me because I spent 30 years in my small town, and I will not move into town. My kids ask me every day, we drive to Rapids and back for school. Why can't we move closer to school? Nope, not doing it. I like my little quiet cul-de-sac. We ruin the peace in the neighborhood. But a lot of people, they're looking for that peace. They're looking for that quiet. They've been coming here because friends were here or family. And so they're coming back because this was nostalgic, and it's peaceful and it's fun and enjoyable.
Is it people mostly, like, I don't know, who's moving here? People who have retired and are trying to get out of the cities? Or is it younger crowds that have that option now of work from home, so they want to get out? Or is it all of it?
I would say there's a good mix of all of it, but 90% of my clients right now, especially as of late, have been retired folks, second home. But I've also just sold to a new family who just welcomed baby. They love it. They didn't want to be over in Adams, and so this was kind of the next closest place, and they love it. And when they purchased a new home here, their second home, they were like, yeah, we're not leaving. It's pretty good here. So
I mean, we gotta look at things like Sand Valley and the money that is being put into Sand Valley, and, you know, it hasn't, I mean, Sand Valley is, it's not that old, it's old, but it's not that old, but all the newer things, I mean, next year, we're gonna be inundated with all, and for the next 5 years, we're gonna be inundated by all the tournaments that Sand Valley is gonna be sponsored from the national level. And it's already listed in the top 10 in this, the Lido is the top, #1 course in the state of Wisconsin. Over and above Kohler, over and above Century, over and above everything, Erin Hills right now. So people are gonna be coming. We need to have, and what that means is that the Sand Valley in and of itself is gonna have employees that are gonna wanna live here, and the caddies are gonna wanna live here. They're gonna wanna make their fee, but you have a restaurant that only because they don't, there's not enough things going on, that they only have one restaurant open all winter long. I mean, sure, they have all those and the other during the day, but at night they don't. And so if we ever want to get to a point where we have more and more coming out of Sand Valley, we have to have more permanent places for them to live. And it doesn't necessarily mean a single family.
So we'll discuss that at RTC. So we'll discuss that at RTC.
Getting some ideas. Yep.
but I mean, that's good discussion to bring forth to town board and to future RTC meetings, and, start driving the directions and changes in the guide, for sure. So, thank you guys for that.
Anything more on that topic? Okay. Item number 11, next agenda items. Hopefully we will revisit the Wertz counteroffer by that time.
I'll add, hey.
I don't know if we need to add the RTC back on there, or what may be coming out of that after they meet with the town board.
Yeah, I think so.
Do we want that as an agenda item, or up above we have the report? Do we want that as just kind of an updated report of here's what's come out of the meetings?
It's a report.
I think so.
yeah.
As reports.
I think it would be good as a regular report.
Yep.
Just to keep engaged.
Have a
Yeah.
conversation
Groups.
with the reports.
Yep.
Okay. So really, right now, the only agenda items coming up sounds like the Wertz counter offer update on where that's at.
Anybody else have anything they can see for the agenda?
And I always do a check-in before we get that out, so.
I mean, I think the big thing is if they know of anybody that's made an offer or whatever, that
Mhm.
be bringing it to us.
Okay. So item number 12 is the next meeting will be Thursday, December 4th at 3:30 p.m.
3:30,
Everyone-
not 3?
3:30. I can cut out of work a half hour early, unless it's like today where all of a sudden something blows up in production and I'm
I
stuck.
showed up at 20 to 3 today.
Tom, I will not be at that meeting.
Okay. So Heather already has an excuse.
I'm leaving on a cruise the next day.
Well, it's not that day.
Alaska? You going to Alaska?
No.
Oh, that'd be nice, yeah.
All right.
Not hurt, well, still hurricane season,
No, it's out of there.
is it?
Yeah. I haven't seen anything new coming out of there yet. Have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn
Mark and Mark.
and seconded by the Marks. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those against? Oh, Tiffany wants to continue. All right. So Heather, are you part owner with the Up North Brewery?